Hi guys, welcome to your video instructions. This one isn't a lecture this time. So for today's assignment, you're going to go into modules, just remember, and just a reminder, sometimes Canvas glitches and your to-do list, while mine tells me what I need to grade, your to-do list tells you what you need to do for the day. Sometimes Canvas does glitch though, and our to-do list doesn't work, or we're missing some things. So just to make sure that you've done everything you need to do, let's get in the habit of going to modules. I have not figured out why it glitches or what's happening, but sometimes it does. So just to double check, make sure you go to modules. And we are going to Infograph, which let's put that in order. So today starts our energy unit. I'm really excited. I love studying, and we've already talked a little bit about it. We've already talked a little bit about it. About energy and how we get it and some other possible ways that we could get energy. So we've already talked about energy and how we get it normally, but today we've already talked about like power plants, and in some classes we talked about hydropower, and in some classes we talked about solar power, but today in this unit we're going to spend talking about how we get our power, how we traditionally get it from like fossil fuels, and how we are coming up with new ways to get energy and the pros and cons of those, because no way is perfect for getting energy. You're going to learn that a lot. Each way has some negative effects, so we're going to learn about that. But before we can do that, I want to kind of slowly introduce you to this idea of how we get our energy and natural resources and resources just in general. To do that, we're going to read the following infograph. Based on what you read, you're going to answer the following questions. Before we go any further than that, though, a lot of these questions come directly from the infograph, so Google's not going to help you on this. If you Google the answers, I'm going to give you a 0. If I find that your answer is copied and pasted from Google, I will give this entire assignment a 0. The answers are in the infograph, so I need you to use the infograph to answer the question. So you'll click the infograph. Here's your questions right here. They're also listed on your infograph. And if you'll notice, questions 3 and 4 ask you to write a paragraph. I know we don't usually write a whole lot in science class, but it's something we need to get in the habit of. As scientists, we write all of the time to communicate what we're finding and understanding with the general public. So we need to get in the habit of writing as well. So here's the infograph. You're going to read everything on this infograph because all of it is full of good stuff to learn, and it's a great way to introduce you to renewable resources and non-renewable resources and renewable resources. It also talks about stewardship, which is how we use our resources, and being a good steward means that you're environmentally conscious, or you know the effects of what you're doing, and that's something I hope we take away from the class. So you're going to read this. You're going to look at the pros and cons, and then you're going to answer the following questions. Please pay attention to this graph too. So this is in 2014, so it's a little bit dated because it is 2021. But for the most part, we rely a lot on our non-renewable types of energy, like crude oil, which is your gasoline, or which will be made into your gasoline or your diesel, coal, and natural gas. And we don't rely as much on nuclear, geothermal, hydroelectric, biomass, or other natural gas plant liquids. So I want you to pay attention to all of those. Read everything on this infograph. After you read, I want you to think and write about this stuff. So here's those questions again, but again, they're on this assignment if you lose them. Why is stewardship important to our planet is your first one. That can be answered with a sentence. Number 2, what is the difference between non-renewable and renewable resources? This could be answered with a sentence, and your answer is probably right there. Number 3 asks you to write a 5-sentence paragraph describing each non-renewable resource, nuclear and fossil fuels. Number 4 asks you to write a 5-sentence paragraph describing each renewable resource. For this one, we're going to talk about all of them in one paragraph. And I'll put that on the instructions. For 3 and 4, I only want you to write one 5-sentence paragraph about both of those, but make sure each of these types of resources are in there. Number 5 asks you, what are the pros and cons of renewable and non-renewable resources? And number 6 asks you to interpret this data right here. What can you learn from the data concerning U.S. energy production? So what does this graph tell you? Where do we rely mostly on our products? What are we relying on mostly? What do we not use a lot? And how can you apply what you learned here to what you learned about stewardship and renewable versus non-renewable resources? Should we be doing something differently? Okay, guys, if you have any questions, email me. Again, for 3 and 4, and I'll make it clear on the instructions, you only need to write one paragraph about all of these. So as long as you don't have any questions, and I'm changing this right now, it'll be done by the time it's actually time for you to do this assignment. You are welcome to log off. That's it. Have a great day, guys.